Okay, so yeah, I made an amateur mistake when filming my video. Uh, I lost like the last 15 minutes of it. Well, of a particular part of the video, which is why I'm doing this intro vlog style, because I don't necessarily shoot the entire video in chronological order. Uh, so I cut off my entire intro. I cut off some of the important part, but I can explain what happened to you. But I also cut off the intro. So now I'm doing a new intro. Welcome to Project Handlebar. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a sandwich. Fly. Cut to intro. Okay, this is the setting we're going to start with. It looks kind of boring, so let's add a little bit just to make it look a little more authentic. So this image may look really intimidating at first, but actually it's as simple as finding something to rest the food on. We're going to use a 24 gauge wire. You can use fish line, pretty much anything, because we're going to end up taking it out in post. And then I'm just going to wrap it between these two poles and use it to rest the food on. I'm going to use the frame to determine where the top and bottom layers of the bread should go, and then we're going to put everything else in between. Okay, since the meat's a little floppy, we're going to cheat and use little pieces of wood. You can use toothpicks, skewers, you can cut out pieces of cereal box, whatever you want, to try and make this meat a little less flubby.
Okay, so that sucked. I made the amateur mistake of assuming I had enough battery power and it cut off right towards the end. So what you didn't see was me putting that last piece of bread on top, taking the photo, then removing the background, the poles, the wires, and the food, and taking another shot of just the background itself with the food in the wall. So the process of removing those wires and poles will be a lot simpler. Let me show you how. So there is the shot of just the background. Kind of see a difference there. So what makes this easy is I can click the layer mask. Let me put that on the right layer there. And I'm going to hit Control I to invert that. Now, the way a layer mask works is whatever layer that layer mask is on, if you select the mask and you paint with black, it hides that layer. If you paint with white, it reveals that layer. So right now it's black. It's hiding that entire layer. But if I have white as my foreground color, and I increase the brush size here, make sure you have brush selected. I'm just sort of making it disappear. And yes, it is a little bit brighter. What we can do is, since this is a smart object, I can double click on it, take it into camera raw, and lower the exposure. If it's not a smart object for you, you can right click on the layer and select convert to smart object right there. Once it's a smart object, if you double click on it, it will take you into Adobe Camera Raw where you can have more control over the finer details like exposure and things like that. If you're familiar with Lightroom, it's very, very similar to Lightroom. All right, so that matches a lot better. Now we have this area over here. If you look at the difference in background right here, I'm not there creating a shadow on the wall from the light source, so that wall is considerably darker. So what I did was, before I altered this layer, I created a duplicate. Now, since I'm done with this layer, I can go ahead and merge these two. Now we have this layer, and I can take this layer into Camera Raw and try to match that background exposure with the shadow. Let's see how it looks. We can always change it again. All right, so same here. I'm going to hit Control I to invert that mask all to black, and then I'm going to paint white. I'd say it's pretty close. And it's a little darker right there. So let's hit X to switch back to white. And maybe that brick will just be really dark. Now I've got to get rid of all these wires because I wasn't in the background, so I can't mask myself out. So the way we're going to do that is select our original layer. And just in case I make any mistakes, I don't want to destroy the original image. So I'm going to duplicate it by having this layer selected and hitting Control J. Now I've just made a copy of that. This is the layer to which we're going to do all of our adjustments. So some of these finer wires, we're going to use a couple different tools. Those tools being the clone stamp tool, the patch tool, or the healing brush tool rather, and then the spot healing brush when necessary. Now when I use this clone stamp, I'm actually reducing the flow to about 35%. It's not going to be quite as harsh of a change, and I may have to make more than one stroke. Hit Alt to sample that break, and I'm just going to sort of paint away those wires. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process for you because it can be rather tedious. And I'll see you on the other side. And there we go. This pole, I'm just going to crop out of the image. That looks like a pretty decent crop right off the bat. I'm going to use that. And there we go. There's our finished image. A flying sandwich. You can add whatever story you want to, whether I'm tripping and falling and catching a sandwich, or whether the sandwich is floating off my plate, or whatever makes you happy. And if anybody had any questions as to what the tool I was using over here, it was the color mixer brush. Sometimes when things get a little blotchy, a color mixer brush does, with the right settings, you don't want it to be too strong, can help blend colors together so it doesn't look as obvious that you've made some changes. That's it.
Yep, that's right. I lost my exit clip also. So here I am again, coming at you vlog style. Please try this project. Whether you use food or something else flying, try it. Share it with the Project Handlebar Facebook group. Share it on Instagram. # Project Handlebar. Make sure you tag the Project Handlebar Instagram page. I want to see what you're doing. I want to see you guys come up with your own creative ideas and even improve upon what I've done. As always, remember that you can purchase prints that we create on this channel via the link below. The links for the Project Handlebar Facebook group and Instagram page are below, along with links to the gear that I use to make these videos and the gear that I use in my photography business. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, stay creative, my friend.